So, I've been thinking I should probably make this video. One of, if not my last video, was talking about the coronavirus lockdown situation in our province and just very off the cuff, rough idea what my opinions on it all are and where we're at this point. And in it, I talked about how Rankin was getting ready to open the province back up a fair bit. That changed just a little bit, like the day or two after I made that video. So I'm gonna try and get all this right, but I'm going from memory again. Also, forgive my broken phone camera again. It's kind of fucked. It's what it is. So they were gonna try this Atlantic bubble thing one more time. I say one more time. That's optimistic. Anyway, they were trying to do this again. My understanding is the Premier for New Brunswick made it clear that he didn't intend to be strict on the Quebec border, which made the premiers of the rest of the maritime provinces a little bit leery. And it made Premier Rankin decide to postpone his opening plans for a week at that time. I gotta say at that time, because these time frames always seem to shift the longer they go on. But yeah, he said, give us another week to figure out what we're doing and how New Brunswick being more open on the other side than our province would like, give them a week to figure that out. So most people in the province were like, either cool, this sucks, or ugh, this sucks. But they kind of accepted it because it's only a week. There was a very vocal group of people decided, as far as I can tell, it looked from a distance, from the social media chatter and all that, like the blockade started around midnight. I'm not sure on that. Anyway, a group of people decided to protest this extra week until the lockdowns loosen a little bit by blocking off the highway, the Trans-Canada Highway between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. So after that happened, I don't know if it was protesters or if it was the authorities that blocked off all of the routes and not just the main one, but my understanding is that ended up happening. There was a day or two, maybe just a day and a half, somewhere along that time frame, where the province just kind of seethed. Like, people were just agitated at this group of protesters. It was a bad time as far, from a PR perspective, in my opinion. But that's more or less what was going on. And MLA Elizabeth Smith McCrossan, if I'm saying that right, I hope I am. She formerly was a conservative MLA under Tim Houston's Nova Scotia Progressive Conservative Party. A lot of people were saying that she organized and spearheaded this whole protest. My understanding is that she had very little to do with it, except from, like, perhaps a soft power perspective. Like, the protest was going on, it was other people that were organizing it, and like it or not, think it's a good judgment call or disagree with it, she basically said that she supported it and that she was going to go and all this sort of thing. Now, my understanding is that she didn't end up going. Maybe she didn't say she was going to go, but she explicitly said she supported it, and then afterwards said that if it, because the protest was going on and because it looked like it might end up being prolonged, she encouraged people to end the blockade of the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border and to come to the capital in Halifax, in Chibuktuk, to protest at the legislature with her. And her party leader ended up flip-flopping on her, in a way. Now, Tim Houston, from the get-go, was saying that he disagreed with provincial blockades and highway blockades and all this type of thing. And most of the blockades that have happened in Nova Scotia, there's been a fair few, and like generally they're highway slowdowns. Most of our bigger highways in Nova Scotia, like the biggest ones, are 2, maybe 3 lanes in like very select spots of divided highway. And generally when they're slowed down, it's just down to 1 lane of the 2 lanes. Not this one. This was just total shutdown, which is a big part of why it was so abrasive to so many people. Anyway, back to Tim Houston. Houston said that while he disagreed with the blockades, he has been posting almost nonstop about the failure of the Liberals in this, that, and everything, but it, like, and I'm not trying to say that in a bad light. I generally agree that the Liberals could do a lot better, but that's just personal political opinion. Anyway, speaking of personal political opinion, the day after Houston said that he didn't support his MLA in backing this blockade, but he supported her in representing her constituents, he turns around and says that he doesn't support her in the blockade, and because of that, he's booting her from the caucus. So she is now independent of any party, and as far as I can tell, intends to represent her constituents throughout the rest of her term to the best of her ability, and I don't know where she plans to go from there, whether she plans to join another party, retire from politics, run as an independent. She's got options, and she's keeping them kind of close to her chest. Anyway, what else did I want to mention about this entire thing? Oh yeah. So it's been about a week, and it's looking like Rankin is probably going to open some stuff up. I'm not sure all the details on that. I still feel like if the plan was to lock down so strictly that we can isolate the coronavirus and have it basically just die because it can't transmit itself and get the people who have it treated, whatever, then I do not think that we have had a targeted lockdown with the time frame that would be required. We have had lockdowns which are too long, but I think they've been very inadequate. We're basically trying to have our cake and eat it too. We want to defeat this virus, but we want to keep everything as open as they can be. And yeah, like, I want to see things stay open too, and from an ideological perspective, I think that is what should be done. But if the people are going to be so fearful of this virus and they want to see it completely eliminated, we all want things to go back to how they were as far as not having this virus around, then I think the lockdowns that would be required for that would need to be harsher than we've had. People would need to be very well prepared. We would need government help and instruction in exactly how to get ready for a lockdown that would be as strict as would be required, and it would just be ugly. I don't know if y'all want me or don't want me to get into what my thoughts on that kind of a lockdown would be. It would probably be longer than what this video needs to be. But yeah, what basically ended up happening was Nova Scotia was going to reopen. People got mad. There was a protest. There was a political scandal. And now we're talking about reopening again. And that's where we're at. And hell knows what's going to be in store for us come the first part of August. Like, things are happening so fast, and at the same time, hardly changing at all since this whole entire thing started. We'll see how effective the vaccines are and how mutative, I don't know, how much of a tendency this virus ends up proving to have to mutate, all that kind of stuff, people's attitudes. Just keep talking to each other. Like, don't let this virus and the government response to it, like, just sheer communities apart. Like, stay connected, do whatever you gotta do to stay connected, and I'll talk to you in the next video. I'll hopefully have a few coming out pretty rapidly, because like I've been bitching about for the last while, I have been slacking and I need to get off that.